Fellow Toastmasters, back in 2019, my wife and I decided that we wanted to buy an electric car. And our motivation was pretty simple at the time. We were galvanized by the fact that every time we got into our car, we were burning fossil fuels and spewing pollution out into the atmosphere. So we wanted to make the leap to buy an EV. We did some research, and what we ended up buying was this car, a 2019 Kia Niro EV. It's nothing super fancy, kind of your middle of the road, compact four-door sedan. It's a good family car. We've been driving this for the last 7 years now, and we love it. We really enjoy this car. And over that time, I've learned some things about electric cars that I didn't know before. So today, fellow Toastmasters, I'm going to share with you the 3 big things that I've learned about owning an electric car and why they are so fun, cheap, and easy to drive and own. So the first thing I learned is that driving an EV is really fun. The engines, the electric motors, are a lot more efficient than an internal combustion engine. So when you put your foot on the gas, these things just take off. The instant acceleration, a ton of torque. I love sitting at a stoplight and waiting for the light to turn green because I know I'm going to leave all the other cars behind me in the dust. And that's not why we bought this car. You know, we bought this because we wanted to satisfy our need to do something good for the environment. But it turns out I also got to satisfy my need for speed. Now, the second thing I learned is that EVs are really cheap to own. And there's a couple reasons for this. First of all, the maintenance costs are really low. There are less moving parts in an electric vehicle. So there's no exhaust. You never have to get it smogged. There's no oil. You never have to change the oil. You never have to get the spark plugs replaced. None of that. The other reason that EVs are really cheap to own is because of this.
Oh
I never
God.
have to buy gas. Right? Who here is excited about how high gas prices are these days? You're excited? Oh wow! Then
'Cause I
lucky
don't
you.
own a
Oh, because you have an EV too. There you go. Yeah, I took this picture yesterday at the Chevron on Fittyment. $6.69 for a gallon of gas. It's ridiculous. So thankfully, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Now, that doesn't mean it's free to drive an EV. I still have to pay for the electricity to charge my car, but electricity costs are much lower than gas prices. How much lower, you might ask? Well, I did a little math. And based on the size of my battery and what the city of Roseville charges me for my utilities, I figured out that I pay about 4.5 cents per mile when I drive my electric car. Now, that probably means nothing to you because we don't think in terms of cents per mile. We think about dollars per gallon. So we can convert this to dollars per gallon. Now, if you drive a gas car getting about 30 miles per gallon, which is pretty typical these days, you would need the price of gas to drop to $1.37 per gallon in order to achieve 4.5 cents per mile. So if gas prices today are about 5 times that, that means you're paying 5 times as much to drive a gas-powered car as what you would get out of an electric car. Now, maybe you're driving a hybrid, something like a Prius, then you're probably getting better gas mileage, maybe 50 miles a gallon, pretty typical. In that case, you would only need the price of gas to drop to $2.28 per gallon in order to have the same cost as what you've got in EV. Now, for the record, gas in California has not been $2.28 per gallon in about 20 years. And if you're waiting for it to drop to that level again, well, I wouldn't hold my breath. So until then, it's going to be cheaper to own an EV. The third thing that I learned about electric vehicles is that they are very easy to charge. And this was a complete shift for me. I was looking at this totally backwards before I bought this car. So when my wife and I were going through the pros and cons, we were thinking, okay, the pro is we're going to reduce our carbon footprint. But the con is we're going to have to deal with the charging. And we had all this anxiety. How far are we going to be able to drive our car before we have to stop and charge it? And where are we even going to find an electric charger? And when we get there, how long do we have to wait for the battery to recharge? But the reality is, now that we own an EV, we don't have to worry about any of that. Because the first thing we did when we bought this car is we had one of these installed in the garage, a level 2 charger. And it was really straightforward. I called an electrician. He installed that 220 volt outlet right in the garage, same type of outlet you use to plug in a clothes dryer. I ordered the charger online, was delivered to my house. We plugged it in, and now anytime we need to charge our car, we just park it in the garage, plug it in, and walk away. It's so easy, so convenient. It's just like having a cell phone. Before you go to bed at night, you plug it in, you go to sleep. You wake up in the morning, full tank of gas. I love it. And it's funny because I thought this was going to be the main downside of an EV, and it turns out it's one of the biggest benefits, one of the nicest things about it. Plus, I never have to go to a gas station anymore. I never have to drive out to Costco to get that cheap gas, get in that long line of Costco cars waiting for the next pump. And then you get there, you've got to deal with the long hose because the only pump available was the one on the wrong side of the car. I never have to do that again. Now, there's one big caveat here, which is that if you ever go on a road trip, well, then you can't charge at home. But be honest with me, how often are you taking 300-mile road trips? If you're like me, it's once, maybe twice a year. Meanwhile, 360 days a year, you have the convenience of charging at home. And then a couple times a year, you go on a road trip and you realize, oh, shoot, we better map out our chargers before we go, which really isn't even that big a deal. And it's totally worth the trade-off. So in conclusion, we love our electric vehicle. I would buy another one in a heartbeat. It is fun to drive. It is cheap to own. It is easy to charge. If you are going to be in the market for a car anytime in the next couple of years, whether it's new or used, I would strongly encourage you to consider an EV as a fun, cheap, and easy alternative to a gas-powered car. Back to you.